figures to be buoyed and then some by this amazing Rio de Janeiro, Brazil crowd.
You remember all the fun we had doing that photo shoot on the beach in Brazil?
So why would you go all the way to Brazil with a stranger that you don't even know?
You lived in Brazil.
Thanks to my fans in Brazil, my fans in Mexico.
There's a job in Brazil.
Found one that was in Brazil a few years ago.
Oh, now I'm a nut from Brazil.
Mom makes Brazil.
Besides, I've never been to Brazil.
So we in Brazil.
He's from Brazil.
Every time I go on business to Brazil, she makes me bring her back a bag.
I have a company in Brazil called Rio Verde.
There is now considerable argument between Bolivia and Brazil as to what constitutes their border.
It's a long way from Brazil, and they're waiting to see.
That's Brazil.
But everyone agrees Brazil will need nothing short of a miracle to take home the Jules Rimet trophy.
Because there's no extradition agreement between Brazil and the United States.
I want them to see Brazil, just as we are.
Plus, she has the finest bath in all Brazil.
Brazil checking.
When they split, he went to Brazil.
Did the babies all come from Brazil?
Yamaha jet skis, luxury cars, vacations to Brazil, Puerto Rico, Hawaii.
Is Brazil amazing or what?
Well, I'm absolutely certain you'll be fascinated by Brazil.
Brazil, sir?
We lost Monster Zero in a tropical storm over Brazil.
Here in South Africa, James Hunt is determined to make amends after that disastrous retirement in Brazil.
Well, we're in Brazil, so we just call them nuts.
He was from Brazil.
They sing in Portuguese in Brazil.
I got villas in Brazil, Tahiti, East Hampton, West Hampton.
Venezuela, Brazil, now Bolivia, with you tied up in the Middle East.
My dad had a job that took him to Brazil.
From my brother Mark from Brazil.
In Brazil, women cover their bodies with long sleeves, long skirts.
This ain't exactly Brazil.
And with only a few minutes remaining in the match, it appears Brazil may just edge away with this, which would pit them against France in next week's semi-final.
Professor Wilhelm Otto Renzler is working here in Brazil.
Okay, Brazil, the capital of Brazil.
Would not make fools of ourselves and Brazil.
And in Group 4, Brazil, a heavy underdog coming into the tournament, managed to edge out Austria in their first match, then survived England in a scoreless tie. Last to arrive is Team Brazil, who only had to play Peru to qualify after Venezuela inexplicably withdrew after seeding.
The snacks are okay, not super international, but they do have Brazil nuts.
Did you always live in Brazil before you came to Bali?
You got a ranch or something down in Brazil, don't you?
Yes.
A patient of mine who has a phobia about high places told me about an accident happening to a man and woman in Brazil when she was there.
I've been searching for witnesses of my own among the Takuna tribes of Brazil.
As Sweden prepares to host the 1958 World Cup Final, the Nordic Titans of Europe will take on the less experienced but ever flamboyant Brazil.
I see no reason why I should endorse snug-fit Brazil.
That has got to demoralize Brazil as the teams head to the locker rooms after a very physical first half.
Brazil, huh?
And there's another missed pass for Brazil.
Of at least two of those men being alive down here in Brazil.
What do you mean, Brazil?
She's in Brazil.
Jax and I were on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive.
Sort of a death squad like they had in Brazil some years back.
We'll try and find a raincoat in Brazil, even when it isn't raining. Lisa.
Portugal has grown rich from gold and silver from Brazil.
To Tokyo and Brazil and Geneva. I'll win a World Cup for Brazil by.
Let's see what Team Brazil has to say for themselves.
I was halfway to Brazil when I felt you.
My father moved from Senegal to Brazil when I was very little. So, it's a great time for you to take the finest bath in all Brazil.
My orders were to follow as far as Brazil.
The man from Brazil.
France and Brazil, neck and neck at the start of the second half.
We were planning malware in Mexico, Germany, Brazil, Austria.
Welcome to the world-famous Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for the opening ceremony.
He's landing in Brazil, and I guess he caught him.
Tom's been to Brazil, digging his holes.
Yeah.
In Brazil, foreign men may look on the king's woman.
Now, what bright young scholar can tell me what product we drink from Brazil?
I recorded it in Brazil.
But of course, per the King's decree, Brazil will be forced to wear blue today against the heavily favoured home nation.
Forms a critical part of the border between Bolivia and Brazil.
know anything about boats from Brazil.
When Uncle Joe disappeared, our parents told us he'd gone to Brazil to work.
Brought the rubber from Brazil and then put it here.
I mean, Brazil should be counting their blessings. They even qualified for the World Cup.
The winner from Brazil, André Silva!
In Spain and...
Brazil. Japan, Brazil, Sao Paulo.
Hasn't seen North American soil in over 2 years.
By the day after tomorrow, I'll be married to the future president of Brazil.
The day Brazil won our first World Cup.
We can listen to Team Brazil invitations tomorrow.
Yeah, no. They profess honesty and fidelity, and then while you're away lecturing in Switzerland, they run off to Brazil with your mate.
Yeah, to some teenager from Brazil.
Brazil.
For this musical review in Brazil.
I want you to mail me a list of the 50 richest men in Brazil.
It will be assumed he absconded to Brazil to join his partner, the eminent orthopedic surgeon.
That the funds were transferred to a subsidiary company, Platinum Holdings, and later used to purchase property in Bahia, Brazil.
Just a letter of condolence to the widow of the ambassador to Brazil.
Who's your Brazil nut?
They checked out of the Hotel Brazil this morning.